Okay, class, welcome back. So let's continue. So we found out that this DA was not valid. And another thing to note with DA verification is that most likely you'll be doing the DA verification in a retail pharmacy, not in a hospital pharmacy. The reason why that is because in a hospital pharmacy, the providers that are actually working in the hospital have already gone through that screening. So their DA number has already been screened for that it's legit. So there's no need for verification of the DA. But it is important to know where to find that DEA in a hospital setting because retail pharmacy, whenever there is a new provider working in the community, they'll usually call the hospital and ask for that DA number. If in fact the prescription does not have the DA number written on there. So they'll call a hospital and request that DA number, and then they can go ahead and do their verification. So a drug designation. Medications may have three names: a chemical name, a generic name, and a brand name. These various names are referred to as the nomenclatures. So whenever the drug went to their specific approval process, they had to come up with these three names for that medication. Most of the time, the medication is identified by the generic name. This is the name in which the Food and Drug Administration has approved the drug, and it has also that unique chemical product, which refers to it as being a safe and effective for use, and it's approved for that indication. The generic name of a drug is the same regardless of the company that the manufacturer or the dosage form or packaging in which it is supplied. So when it went through the approval process, it had a specific dosage form and it had a specific packaging supply. Okay. Other times a physician will specify the brand name. The brand name is a registered trademark of the manufacturer and may indicate the dosage form or packaging of the drug as well. So we have to remember that the manufacturer will be the one that gives it its trade name or referred to as the brand name. So whenever the medication went through its initial process, the manufacturer will give it that brand name. So for example, Tylenol. Tylenol is the brand name for the generic name acetaminophen. So if you go to CVS, CVS will have its own trademark, and it'll have the CVS logo on it, and it'll have the generic name of acetaminophen. Tylenol is the trademark of the original when the medication was originally created. Okay, so usually anything that comes after the initial creation will always be referred to as the generic name. And just remember that if in fact the patient asks you, so what's the difference between the generic and the brand name? The only difference is probably the fillers of the medication. So the binding of the medication to make it into that tablet. So you'll see that Tylenol or acetaminophen sometimes will come in capsules, sometimes in tablet form. So that binding of difference of capsule and tablet form, that's the only difference between the brand and generic. because in fact, in order for the medication to continue, it has to have that same ingredient. The base ingredient has to be the same. Anything else of the way the box looks, or the form that it's made into can be different. Just that initial part of the drug, the way it's made, has to be the same. The active ingredient, basically, that's what I'm referring to, has to be the same. So that's the reason why insurance companies will say, well, no, we're only gonna pay for the generic name. If the patient wants the brand name, he can pay the difference. Okay? Basically for the same reason, that the active ingredient is the same. The only reason that maybe the type of filler that the manufacturer is using, if, for example, the patient is allergic to something in that filler, then the insurance company has to pay for that brand name. And that's why sometimes the physicians will write DAW, dispense as written, because they already know the binding ingredients of that medication, and they know that the brand name will benefit more the patient than the generic if there's some type of allergy involved. Other times, the physician will go ahead and write for that generic medication. So let's look at the elements of the label. You will have the packaging size. So in this label, you have 60 ml. You'll have the brand name. So the brand name is usually in bold print. Cleocin phosphate. And then you'll have the generic name. The generic name usually is in lowercase letters. Sometimes it's in parentheses. So clindamycin is the generic name. And then it'll have the dosage form, in this case injection. It'll have the drug strength, so it's 9,000 milligrams per 60 ml. Sometimes the dosage strength will also have another dosage strength, which is easier to compute, which is called sometimes referred to as the concentration, because it's always per ml, the concentration. So in this case, 150 milligrams per ml will be the concentration. It'll have the manufacturer's name, which is in this case Pfizer. It'll have dosage, special instructions, or how to handle the product as well. It'll have the National Drug Code, which is the NDC number. So medications with a given name, brand, or generic are frequently available in a variety of strength, dosage forms, and information about the particular strength. Dose and dosage form is clearly stated on the drug label. Digoxin, for instance, is available as a generic product and as several branded preparations. Okay, so different dosage forms and different doses. So it is available as a tablet in 2 different strengths. So you have 0.125 milligrams and 0.25 milligrams. An oral solution, so it's a liquid, 0.05 milligrams per ml is a concentration. And it'll also come in injection form as a 0.1 milligrams per ml and a 0.25 milligrams per ml. Okay, so remember, whenever you're reading a prescription, it's very important to select the correct medication strength and the correct dosage form. Many other drugs present a similar array of choices, so you will have lots of brand names, dosage forms, strengths, and concentrations. The proper product to select must be clear in the prescription order. So it's very important to read that prescription and then go into your pharmacy counters and select the correct dose. So in this case, we have furosemide, we have it in strengths of 20 milligrams in a tablet form. We have 40 milligrams in also a tablet form. And then we have it also as an injection, so 40 milligrams per 4 mLs, or the concentration of 10 milligrams per ml. So it's again very important to read the prescription, identify the correct product, then go to your counters and select the product that you're looking for. Quantity to dispense. So every outpatient prescription order must indicate to the pharmacist what quantity to dispense. Sometimes it's not straightforward. The physician will write either the number of tablets, handwritten is preferred, or with the symbol and the numeric value. Sometimes it's written in Roman numerals like we've reviewed before, or it's spelled out. Other times it's indicated by the number of doses the patient is to take for a number of days. And therefore, if it's written in that way, then the pharmacy staff, either the pharmacist or the pharmacy technician, has to calculate what the quantity is to dispense. When the quantity to dispense has been determined, the pharmacy technician selects the proper dispensing containers. So this picture shows amber liquid containers. So you have to select the correct liquid containers. So for example, this first from starting from the right to left is a 2 ml container. Then I believe this is the last one on the left is a 240 ml container, I believe. So you have to select which amber liquid bottle you would select depending on the number of days or the quantity that you have to dispense. So when preparing tablets or capsules to fill a prescription, the tablets or capsules are generally counted by fives using a special designing tray and a plastic or metal spatula, and I place that into an amber vial. Okay, so this is the counting tray. This is a spatula that he has in his hand, and he's counting the medication by fives. Okay, here you'll put the medication into this section of the counting tray. This right hand section of the counting tray, upper right hand, that is any medication that's left over, you will dump back into the original bottle, and whatever is left in here, that you will dump into your amber bottle that you're going to be dispensing out. An example of counting the number, the quantity for a specific day supply. Okay, so if the physician has not written for the number of quantity to dispense, you have to calculate what quantity that is. So let's read this prescription. A prescription for amoxicillin 125 milligram chewable tablet twice daily is written for a patient in the pharmacy. How many chewable tablets will be dispensed in 2 days? So again, the medication is taken twice daily. So you have 1 tablet is equal to your dose. You're taking 2 doses per day for 10 days. So 1 times 2 times 10 divided by 1 divided by 1 divided by 1 is equal to 20 tablets. So that's the number of tablets you will be dispensing per day. So calculating day supply, whether prescription is written for a specific number of doses or a specific duration of time, the technician needs to calculate the day supply. A prescription is written for a specific number of doses such as 30 or a scheduled time such as TID for that 10 days. So calculate the day supply. So X days over 60 tablets is equal to 1 day over 2. So that's a 30-day supply. We'll see you in the next video to go over the prescription directions. Oops.